In the heart of West Africa, the Benin Kingdom stands as a testament to centuries of tradition, power, and artistic brilliance. Its history is a rich tapestry woven with threads of loyalty, ambition, and conflict. But few threads are as complex or as controversial as the legacy of one particular family. The year 1897 marked a cataclysmic turning point. The British punitive expedition led to the sacking of Benin City, the looting of its priceless treasures, and the exile of its divine ruler, Oba of Onramwen. In the vacuum of power that followed, new figures rose, navigating the treacherous landscape of colonial rule and traditional authority. It was in this crucible of change that the Obaseki family's modern story truly began, forging a name that, even today, can strike a chord of fear and unease in the heart of Benin. To understand this deep-seated apprehension, we must examine the intricate history of their influence. For more than a century, the family's actions, their strategic alliances, and their direct confrontations with the palace have shaped the very narrative of power in the kingdom. To many Edo people, the Obaseki name is synonymous with immense influence, relentless ambition, and a history of unsettling proximity to the throne. Here are 5 historical reasons why the name still inspires such powerful and complex emotions in Benin. Number 1. Ago Obaseki's unprecedented dual titles. At the center of this story is Chief Ago Obaseki, a figure of immense historical significance. He remains the only man in the long and storied history of the Benin Kingdom to have ever been granted 2 of the highest chieftaincy titles concurrently. He was first the Obaseki of Benin, a title created specifically for him by Oba of Onramwen, signifying the king's deep trust and affection. Later, he was also made the Iyase of Benin. The Iyase is traditionally the kingdom's prime minister, the commander of the army, and the leader of the town chiefs, often acting as a crucial check on royal power. To hold both titles was to wield an almost unimaginable concentration of authority. In the fragile post-1897 era, with the Oba in exile and the British establishing their administration, Ago became the most powerful indigenous figure in the land. He was the bridge between the colonial authorities and the Benin people, a position that afforded him immense influence but also placed him in a precarious and often controversial role. This consolidation of power in one man, outside the direct lineage of the Oba, left a legacy of both effective governance and deep-seated suspicion that still stirs passionate debates today. Number 2. Royal marriages across 2 reigns. Ago Obaseki further solidified his family's position by weaving it directly into the royal bloodline through strategic marriages. He married royal daughters from 2 different successive Obas, a move that was as politically astute as it was unprecedented for a chief. First, he married Princess Orimwianme, the eldest and reportedly favorite daughter of the exiled Oba of Onramwen. This union connected him directly to the deposed monarch, granting him a degree of legitimacy in the eyes of the people during the turbulent interregnum. Later, he also married Princess Ighuisi, the eldest daughter of Oba Eweka II, of Onramwen's successor. These alliances were not merely personal, they were profound political statements. By marrying the first daughters of 2 consecutive kings, Ago placed the Obaseki family perilously close to the very heart of the monarchy. This proximity heightened both their influence and the palace's intrinsic wariness. In a culture where lineage and blood ties are paramount, the Obaseki family was now intertwined with the royal house in a way no other chieftain family was. This created a complex dynamic of insider status and outsider ambition, fueling suspicion that the family's power could one day rival that of the throne itself. Number 3. A lineage of chiefs across generations. The family's influence did not end with Ago. It cascaded down through the generations, creating a political dynasty. 3 of Ago's sons rose to become high-ranking chiefs, further cementing the family's grip on the kingdom's power structure. His son Ayamekwe Jackson Obaseki was honored with the title of Osama of Benin, a prestigious title reserved for the very wealthy and influential, often called the godfather of the people. Another son, Daunson Obaseki, was granted the title of the Obaru Yedo of Benin, a key palace chief. And, most significantly, his son Gaius Obaseki followed in his father's footsteps, eventually becoming the Iyase of Benin himself. This concentration of titled power within a single family, spanning multiple generations, has few, if any, parallels in the annals of Benin history. While it is common for noble families to hold influence, the Obaseki's ability to secure several of the most powerful titles in the kingdom was extraordinary. It created a perception of a dynasty operating alongside the royal one, a formidable political bloc that could shape policy and influence succession. This enduring presence in the highest echelons of power still resonates uneasily in the public memory of the Edo people. Number 4. Repeated clashes with the throne. Power, especially when concentrated, inevitably leads to friction. The history of the Obaseki family is marked by a series of high-stakes confrontations with the monarchy, a pattern that repeated across generations. The first major clash involved Ago himself. During the interregnum following Oba Ovonramwen's exile, Ago, as the paramount chief, was accused of attempting to usurp royal authority. His infamous power struggles with Oba Iweka II, both before and after the latter's ascension to the throne in 1914, are legendary. Ago, backed by the British, resisted the full restoration of the Oba's power, setting a precedent for conflict between the Iyase and the Oba that would define the era. The torch of defiance was passed to his son. In the 1940s and 50s, Gaius Obaseki, now the Iyase, engaged in a prolonged and bitter political duel with the revered Oba Akinzua II. As the head of the colonial-backed Benin Divisional Council, Gaius led initiatives that were seen as a direct assault on the Oba's traditional authority. The council moved to drastically reduce the Oba's official salary and, most contentiously, attempted to regulate the Oba's sacred power to grant chieftaincy titles. This was a move to ensure that new chiefs who could become members of the council were not solely loyal to the Oba, thereby shifting the balance of power toward the administrative body that Gaius controlled. These conflicts were not mere political disagreements. They were fundamental challenges to the spiritual and temporal authority of the Oba. They deepened the chasm of distrust between the palace and the Obaseki family, cementing the family's reputation for political assertiveness and a willingness to challenge the throne. The echoes of these battles continue to define the political discourse in Edo State to this very day, framing modern political rivalries as a continuation of this historic struggle. Number 5. The Obaseki title made hereditary. The final piece of this complex puzzle came in a surprising act of reconciliation and institutionalization. In a landmark decision, Oba Erediawa, who reigned from 1979 to 2016, made the Obaseki chieftaincy title hereditary. This was a significant departure from tradition, as most high-ranking titles were granted based on merit and service, not by birthright. The Oba conferred this now hereditary title upon the erudite jurist and Supreme Court judge, Justice Andrew Otutu Obaseki. Justice Otutu was the eldest son of Gaius Obaseki, and a man widely respected for his intellect and integrity. This act was seen by some as a masterful political stroke, a way to finally contain the family's ambition within a defined inherited role and to honor a distinguished son of Benin. However, for others, it was the ultimate validation of their fears. It permanently cemented the family's long-standing position of power, institutionalizing a legacy that had already tested the palace's authority for generations. By making the title hereditary, it ensured that the name Obaseki and the power it represented would forever be a fixed star in the Benin political firmament, independent of the Oba's future discretion. These 5 strands, the unprecedented dual titles, the strategic royal marriages, the dynastic succession of chiefs, the repeated clashes with the throne, and the eventual cementing of their title as hereditary, are woven together, to form the complex tapestry of the Obaseki legacy. They help explain why this single family name continues to provoke such a potent mixture of fear, fascination, respect, and intense debate in Benin. It is a story of power accumulated in a time of crisis, power contested in the political arena, and power inherited through blood and decree. This history is not just a relic of the past, it is a living narrative, woven deeply into the modern political identity and consciousness of the kingdom and of Edo state. The story of the Obasekis is, in many ways, the story of modern Benin itself, a continuous negotiation between the ancient authority of the palace and the evolving dynamics of political power. Benin history.